Hey Yetis, Mr. Smith here. Pumped to be starting this school year and cannot wait to see all of you in person. I hope you had an amazing summer. Um, there's probably lots of questions about how this is going to look at Snowy Peaks and maybe even a little anxiety about, my goodness, what is this school year going to look like and feel like for my child? So, let's answer some of those questions right now. Please understand this is in draft format. Things are constantly still moving and shaking, but we are going to do our best to share all the information that we have as of August 11th today. And I think we're pretty excited about it because it's going to be awesome. If you have any specific questions, please do not hesitate whatsoever. Pick up the phone, call me. I'd be happy to discuss any plans and answer any questions that I can about your scholar. So here we go. Snowy Peaks Restart Plan 2020 draft format. All right. Get rid of me. Okay, so we're here. The office is open. Miss Brenda is sitting at the front desk, smiling and ready to greet our students. Miss Jen is on the phone with parents talking about plans, and we're ready to rock. So come visit us, socially distance, of course, or give us a call and let us know how we can help you. First day of school, I'm sure you heard, got pushed back a week, so it is now August 26th. We are planning on our orientation taking place from August 26th through the 28th, with first day of our class schedule rolling on August 31st. Okay, so you've probably heard there are two different options that parents seem to be choosing between at the Summit School District. So the first would be, staying with Snowy Peaks as you know it. And what we are super pumped about is we have a plan put together right now. As of today, we'll be meeting 4 days each week in person at Snowy Peaks. And we'll talk more about that in a minute, okay? However, some families may be like, well, we're just not there yet, and we're a little uneasy with walking back in the door every day. And hey, that's okay. What we are going to offer is we're going to continue to offer the flexibility that I think Snowy Peaks is so well known for. And what we're going to do is be able to build you an online schedule with the Snowy Peaks teachers. So, if you want to be in person, you can be. And if you're still more comfortable remaining online, you'll still be working with the Snowy Peaks teachers. Okay. What we think, the reason we want that to happen and we think that that's so important is that we know that it's all about those connections and those relationships and being part of the Yeti family. If you choose any of those options, you'll still have that opportunity for some self-pacing. What we always say is students at Snowy Peaks can work ahead, but you're just not allowed to fall behind. And obviously, you'll be limited to the course options that run in the master schedule with the Snowy Peaks teachers. So that's the option to come back to Snowy Peaks. And then you may have heard, district is offering a remote learning option. And really, how you need to be thinking about this if you choose this is, hey, I'm almost joining an online school. Okay, it's going to be district provided. It will be free. It will run through Edgenuity with Edgenuity's teachers. Okay, in that format, you will have, as far as I know, you have complete control over the pacing of your class, and you get, the extensive and vast course options that that Edgenuity offers in their course catalog that we can't do with our small school and our small staff. So, if you want to take Latin or Mandarin or any of those cool classes, Edgenuity can offer those. Okay, so assuming you're still here because you're coming back to Snowy Peaks, here's what this is going to look like. All right, so in person, we are going to have one cohort of all 80 students, and our students are going to get to attend 4 in-person days per week. And those days that we're going to be here at school are Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and as you see here, Wednesdays are going to be off campus, and that'll be students working remotely as well as some experiential learning in our off-campus activities that focus on character development, community service, and nature. So within our Bell schedule, which I'll show you in a minute, students will take 4 classes each day. All right, when students walk into the building, we are going to be strictly following public health guidance. So there'll be health screenings. We'll talk more about this later. Reduced schedules, physically distanced seating arrangements, masks, and directional movement within our school. So I want to be really clear about this, right? Just because we're one cohort of 80 students doesn't mean we're just free for all. We are a cohort of 80 students. However, what that means is we will still be putting in all of the protocols to limit contact, and especially close contact between our students, to make sure that we're being as safe as possible. All right, so hygiene and disinfecting protocols throughout the day to make sure that our school is germ-free and clean as we can make it. And we are still going to be offering blended learning and competency-based instructional models. And what that means is we should be very fluid if we need to shift from in-person learning to a remote or distance learning scenario like we had to do in the spring. Okay. What we know is there are certain things, be it public health or a governor's order or something like that, there are certain things that could push us out of the school building and back into a remote or distance learning format, and we will be ready to do so quickly. So let's talk about that option. So if we move to an online instruction and assessment, Google Classroom will house all of the students' information. Okay, we call that our learning management system. From there, teachers will direct students within their classes to either live virtual classes, instructional videos on YouTube that the teachers make, or maybe even leveraging some of that Edgenuity stuff. Okay. What we talk about at Snowy Peaks is when we lean on remote learning, it is a great opportunity to empower our students. All right, when they work, where they work on their classwork, the pace at which they work on their classwork. We want students to develop those life skills and the responsibility to take ownership over their own success. Even if we're in a remote learning scenario, we are going to have close contact, relationships, and connections with our students. And that's going to be done through teacher office hours, virtual meetings and support. And even if we're in a remote learning setting, we want to still provide those experiential learning opportunities, which will now take place on Wednesdays, where we'll go out into our community safely, socially distanced, but go on a hike, go do some community service, and go do some character development opportunities. All right, so health protocols. And again, there are many bullet points that could be on this slide. So I'm just covering, I think, the big ones. All right. So there will be health screenings upon arrival every day at school. We'll be asking questions about, have they seen any symptoms or come into contact with anybody who has had symptoms. We'll take every student's temperature before they arrive at school. Students will have to wear masks. However, we are building in blocks of time for students to get outside, take that mask off, and have a little break from it, because we know how important that is as well. We'll be maintaining 6 feet of distance at all times. Even in PE class and things like that, we want to make sure that we are keeping that distance to keep our students safe. We're going to be limiting contact and class size. One of the great things about Snowy Peaks is we already have small class sizes. So while bigger schools are trying to adjust to funnel it down to what is just simply normal for us. And again, just because we're an 80-person school and an 80-person cohort, we will be limiting contact between students who really don't need to come into contact with each other. So we'll have protocols for that. Hand washing and sanitizing will be done regularly throughout the day, and we'll be encouraging it of our students. We may even have sanitizing stations like at every single door. And if you've ever been in a hospital, you've seen nurses and doctors, right? They sanitize or foam in and they foam out of every room. So we may sanitize in, sanitize out of every room. We'll have directional flow through our hallways so students aren't passing each other face to face. And one of the big things that we'll have to talk about is some of our rooms that have shared equipment, like our makerspace, art class, and things like that, maybe PE. So we'll be disinfecting equipment regularly between uses. Okay, here's the bell schedule. If you saw my presentation at the school board meeting the other night, you saw a different bell schedule. But this is our best thinking, again, as of August 11th. So we got some feedback that we had to change it due to some rules from the state. So what we got here is, you can take a look. Students will be in 4 classes: first, second, fifth, and sixth on Mondays. All right, 4 classes each day. And that 5th period class is going to include our students' favorite unplugged activities, where we unplug from our technology and we focus on student wellness, and they have to do something that's good for their head and their heart. And so we will be doing those activities outside. everything from yoga to meditation to a walk to maybe book club, whatever it may be, and some of your students' favorite unplugged activities will still be built into the schedule. It's just going to be embedded into our Be Legendary curriculum, because what we know is we can't be legendary if we don't take care of ourselves. All right, so that's our social skills curriculum as well. All right, on Tuesdays, periods 3, 4, fifth period be legendary again, and then they'd have seventh hour as the last period of their day. Okay, so we're actually running a block schedule in the afternoons for electives this year, and that's because we are limited to running 4 classes per day. All right, Wednesdays, we know this Wednesday schedule is actually going to take place virtually from home. So students will have an opportunity to work on their core coursework in the mornings. And then we are going to be providing those experiential learning opportunities that kind of make Snowy Peaks so special still in the afternoons. Okay. Please notice this is marked draft format. We may have to work on it a little bit, or, maybe break the experiential learning opportunities into 2 cohorts. So maybe there's a group going out and doing those in the morning and a separate group going in the afternoons. So things like that might be tweaked, but we're feeling pretty good about this schedule. Thursday and Friday are just simply a repeat of Monday and Tuesday. Okay. All right. So other information that you might want to know about lunch, we are going to get our students outside. We are trying to make a little mini, if you've seen Frisco Main Street or Breckenridge Main Street, where they just close it down and there's outdoor seating options where people can be socially distanced. We are going to try to do that right out in front of Snowy Peaks every day. When the weather permits, students can go outside, and we may be we're trying to order some folding chairs so students can go out, sit down where they like, be outside, take the mask off, and enjoy lunch. One of the bummers that we have learned is that we can't have any shared lunch equipment, and that means like no microwaves, toaster oven, and things like that. So students will need to be prepared to eat their lunch, especially those who bring lunch from home, without it. Okay, students will still have the option to pick up school lunch, and they can order that in the morning when they arrive at school. As far as unplugged, that shouldn't say adjoins lunch. That was our first draft. It's actually now embedded within our Be Legendary class. Okay, and students will still have an opportunity to take place in these activities, or to take part in these activities, and they will be outside. All public health parameters will apply. Things like walking, bike riding, skateboarding, book club, music, meditation and yoga, fitness, etc. will all still be options for our students. We know our students love that period. All right, makerspace and art. Again, I talked a little bit about this, but those are places where shared materials and shared equipment exist. So we need to be very conscious of that. We've talked even about ordering each student their own individual kit, per se, for their art equipment or something like that, to try to reduce contact between students in shared materials. And then last, PE. This is going to take place outside as much as possible, and so we'll have very limited access to our PE room just because it's a small room with limited ventilation, and so we'll be using outside for PE. And then if there is any shared equipment, again, making sure that we disinfect that between uses. Okay, what do my students' Wednesdays look like? Because I know they're not going to be at school, right? For the most part, students will likely be working off campus. Okay, so they'll have time to do some independent work time on their coursework, meet with teachers during office hours, have some intervention or extension opportunities in their classes, and then on the other half of their day, down here it says experiential learning opportunities, and I showed that to you on the calendar, or I'm sorry, on the bell schedule. But students will have the opportunity to go out and do nature, community service, and character development. Okay. There may be some opportunities for students to come on campus during these days, though. So, if JOPO decides to run a small group Algebra 1 support class, those students may have the opportunity to come in and do a small drop-in tutoring session or something like that. In addition, progress monitoring, assessments, special ed testing and things like that can all take place on those days. Students who want to meet with Miss Jen or the school psych or other counseling opportunities, they may come onto campus on those days and have that opportunity. We can also do these things virtually, right? We just learned, big news, get ready, write this down, is that the PSAT and SAT makeup date is going to be on October 14th, which is a Wednesday. What a perfect day for us to bring our students back in to take those valuable tests, and that includes our seniors who missed the opportunity to do it as juniors. Okay, on Wednesday, October 14th. So, we can run assessments on those days. And then the last thing down here is there's great opportunities for communication. Okay. So teachers, giving feedback to parents about how students are doing, and parents reaching out to teachers for some progress monitoring as well. Okay. Other things we're talking about as the school is doing some home visits for all families, either before school starts or shortly thereafter, making sure that our teachers have adequate time to get ready for this school year. And what we know is they pushed the school year back a week, so we're feeling good about that. We will be making sure that all IEP 504 GT and counseling needs will be met. We want to make sure that we still provide those experiential learning opportunities and that we do them safely. CMC courses. I know this is a big question for a lot of people. The short answer is yes, your student will still get to take CMC courses, and we have a meeting tomorrow to hash out the details with them, and we will get your students registered as soon as possible. Talked about outdoor seating for lunch and even holding classes outside, because we know that is a place where obviously students safely at times can pull down their masks. They can spread out a little bit more and maybe kind of escape that classroom feel that might feel a little different this year. All right, individual sets of tools, art supplies, safety glasses, science equipment, and making sure that we have a plan for shared equipment. All right. Miss Jen wanted me to share with you that she is here, and she is here for students, but she's also here for families. She's also here for parents and guardians. If you're feeling stressed, if you're feeling worried about this school year, if you need to talk to somebody, she's available. Here's her contact information. Please reach out. Please reach out. Okay. Man, that is all I have for you guys. If you have any questions whatsoever, if you want to talk about your scholar's individual plan, if you just want to say hi, here's my cell phone, here's my email. I welcome your communication, and I cannot wait to get this school year started. We are working so hard to make sure that this is as special as any other year. And in fact, I think it's going to be even more special because I think we all came into contact with how much we miss that social interaction and those relationships and those connections that make Snowy Peaks so incredibly special. Thank you so much for being part of the Yeti family. We love you. Please take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and we'll see you soon. Take care.